I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
And raise your hand if you know Martin Luther King. Somebody say something about Martin Luther King. Janice.
Martin Luther King was a leader for the people.
He was a leader for the people. What else was he? Civil rights. Our rights. Our rights as the people.
And then we're standing for what we love and are. Yeah.
Don't run over the videographer.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Thank you. On behalf of the Interfaith Roundtable of Kauai, I welcome you. We have a very serious and focused mission with the Interfaith Roundtable, and that is to support people that are not necessarily like us. Support people that believe maybe differently. Maybe they came from a different place. Maybe they worship differently. But we're here to support all people, no matter what they do. The phrase is, if you can't see God everywhere, you can't see it anywhere. So welcome on behalf of the Interfaith Roundtable of Kauai. If you remember, or you know, if you're associated with us in any way, please stand up. Stand up, rise up. Thank you very much. Now, next time we do this, because you're here, you're all default members. Welcome to the roundtable. We meet at the end of the month, the last Friday at noon. We'd love to have you there. What's it? Lahui La Hongwanji. It's a great place. So thank you very much. My co-chair is Diane Decker, and she has an important message for you.
Good morning, Kauai. What a beautiful day, yes? Yes. Welcome to the 2017 Martin Luther King Day celebration program organized by the Interfaith Roundtable of Kauai. I'm Reverend Diane Decker. I represent the Center for Spiritual Living in Kauai and act as the co-chair with Dr. Hari Khalsa. IROC is a multi-faith organization committed to working together to create greater understanding, acceptance, and respect, peace and harmony in our community. The Roundtable exists as a forum for representatives of various faiths to come together and share, to explore our diversity while focusing on our similarities, and you are invited to join us. Audre Lorde said, "It is not our differences that divide us, it is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences." Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave us principles of nonviolence. He celebrated those principles, demonstrated them in his life, and left them as a legacy for us. Those 6 principles of nonviolence are: nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. 2, nonviolence seeks to win friendship and understanding. 3, nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice, not people. 4, nonviolence holds that suffering can educate and transform us. 5, nonviolence chooses love instead of hate. And 6, nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice. This is why we are here today. This is what we celebrate today. And I want to take this moment to recognize that a lot is going on in our world that would help us to turn to the side of differences and not notice what is happening with all of our similarities. There have been categories, whole categories of people demonized with rhetoric and political goings-on. And we are here to stand together with all people, whether they are brown or black, worship differently or the same as us, whether they are LGBTQIA or straight. We are all one family, united in the one life, the one power, the one presence of God. And we stand here today as that community. To call us into prayer today and officially open, I would like to invite Sabra Kakao to come to the front and gift us with who she is and what she brings to this beautiful island.
Aloha kakahi akakako. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here today. I open with this chant that speaks of sharing aloha. Anawahi ko kako mea ho'oki pala e ai. Amena mea hano hano. E ho'o hiva ia nei makola e ai. E hui puhui ka vai vai. O ko kako mau kupuna la e ai. Ia hipu ia kako I ka lokai. Kanalu I mia kako mai ka hiki mai la e ai. Me ke aloha no kako apau. Me ke aloha no kako apau. With aloha one to another. Me ke aloha kako apau. Aloha. When Analia asked me to speak this morning, I had to review my history. And in reviewing that history, I rediscovered so many things that I had forgotten. But let me take a little survey. Where were you? How many of you were born in 1940s? Okay, that's about a third, maybe a fourth to a third of the audience. How many of you were born by the 1950s? Okay, 60s, 70s, 80s. You see, we have youngsters. Maikai. Did I go back far enough? Okay. Maikai, 1930s. Yay! Oh, brother, you should be up here giving this speech. You have lived through so much.
We leave it up to the kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, yay! 1920s. Oh boy. Wow. Anybody 1910s? No, that would be my mother. That would be Joanne's mother, yeah? 1920s. Okay. Oh my gosh. We have history in this room. Yay. We have people who have lived through so much and seen so much. In 1959, think back, where were you? I was a freshman at Kamehameha School, up on the hill. When Hawaii became a state, Pele erupted and the sky was orange, more orange than it is now. Everybody said it was a celebration. I went, okay. And I was a dorm. I lived up in the dorm up on Kapalama campus. And so we really weren't a part of the festivities and the parades down in downtown. But I did not know until recently that Dr. King came to address that first legislature of Hawaii in September of 1959. And I cannot help thinking that Senator Dan Inouye must have been a very important part of that connection, all right? And Martin Luther King says, I come to you with a great deal of appreciation and great feeling of appreciation, I should say, for what has been accomplished in this beautiful setting and in this beautiful state of our union. As I think of the struggle that we are engaged in the Southland, we look to you for inspiration as a noble example, where you have already accomplished in the area of racial harmony and racial justice, what we are struggling to accomplish in other sections of the country. And you can never know what it means to those of us caught for the moment in the tragic and often dark midnight of man's inhumanity to man, to come to a place where we see the glowing daybreak of freedom and dignity and racial justice. Wow, in 1959. So let's move up 10 years to 1969. 1969, my son was born in Enid, Oklahoma. His father was going through Air Force training at Vance Air Force Base. He had to go to Florida for further training. And so we drove from Oklahoma to Florida. I couldn't figure it out at the time, but we went into a restaurant along the highway, and they took a long time to serve our table. And I noticed that other people were coming in, and they were getting served, and they were leaving, and we hadn't even put in our order yet. And then it began to dawn on me. Here my husband was Holly, blonde hair, blue eye. I'm a brownie, dark in the sun. Our son is mixed. And it began to dawn on me, oh wow, I am experiencing prejudice for the first time that I am aware of. And it made me think very hard about what it must be like to live there. And I'm so grateful for having grown up in the islands, for having a mixture of friends around me, a mixture of family around me, and to realize the specialness of these islands. Okay. You know, I couldn't help but keep reading on this day. And there was a representative, John Lewis, Democrat of Georgia, who on the eve of this day, he said of race relations in the country, we have made a lot of progress, but we're not there yet. The scars and stains of racism are still deeply embedded in American society. Martin Luther King had concluded that the church offered the most assuring way to answer an inner urge to serve humanity. And I like that. That's what our council does. That's what our mayor does. That's what our politicians do. They have that inner urge to serve humanity. All of you, you know, you have that inner urge to serve humanity, and I congratulate you on it. Because it takes a special person. It takes a special strength to serve in that capacity. King believed that organized nonviolent protest against the system of Southern segregation, known as Jim Crow laws, would lead to extensive media coverage of the struggle for black equality and voting rights. Journalistic accounts and televised footage of the daily deprivation and indignities suffered by Southern blacks and of segregationist violence and harassment of civil rights workers and marchers produced a wave of sympathetic public opinion that convinced the majority of Americans that the civil rights movement was the most important issue in American politics in the early 1960s. Some of you were voting at that time. Early 60s, I hadn't really come of age to vote yet. I hadn't graduated from high school. Another thing that Martin Luther King said is that the time is always right to do what is right. And then I came across some writing by Hamden Rice. Hamden said, my father told me with a sort of cold fury, Dr. King ended the terror of living in the South. Once people had been beaten, had dogs sicked on them, had fire hoses sprayed on them, and been thrown in jail, you know what happened? These magnificent young black people began singing freedom songs in jail. I absolutely love singing with the Kauai Hospice Choir under my friend Sharon West's direction. It just fills me with so much joy to sing. Over this past 18 months since Kaiopua passed, we used to sing quite a bit together, and I love that. I love that harmony and that full volume around us. And singing with the choir and singing with my friends Sylvia Partridge and the Halau fills that space again with aloha. So Hamden continues, that, my friends, is what ended the terrorism of the South. Confronting your worst fears, living through it, and breaking out in a deep-throated freedom song. And you're going to hear a song later that Sharon's going to lead. The jailers knew they had lost when they beat the Dickens crap out of these young Negroes, and the jailed, beaten young people began to sing joyously, first in one town, then in another. And this is what the writer, James Baldwin, captured like no other writer of the area. Please let this sink in, he says. It wasn't marches or speeches. It was taking a severe beating, surviving and realizing that our fears were mostly illusory and that we were free. Freedom, equality, and liberty are not our distractions. They are the irreducible ideals on which America was founded. And these promises are the only solution to repair the divided state of America. That quote comes from SALT, the South Asian Americans Leading Together. It is a fairly young organization, but they too have felt the prejudice because they are brown. They are South Asian. They come from Vietnam, Cambodia, Burma, Thailand, India, Bangladesh. And they have come to our country, they've come to America for education, for opportunity, and to make a contribution to the community. And now Annalie is wondering, when's she going to get to Aloha? Because in looking, and reading about this, there are pictures of the march in Selma, and they're wearing leis. They're wearing leis. Yay! Wow! So somebody from Hawaii had to make, and they're plumeria leis. And so you got to make them quick, and you got to ship them quick, and you got to wear them quick because in 3, 4, 5 days, they're sort of wilted. And I was so impressed to learn that, and I wondered about all the people who had been behind that, who had shipped them there, and I wondered if anybody in this audience knows the story of those leis. Again, I thank Inoue and our other representative there. All of them had to have a hand in that. When I read about Senator Inoue, it says that he was born in Honolulu, but I want confirmation here because I had also heard that he was born in Wahiawa, here on Kauai. No? It was Honolulu? Okay. All right. Maybe he had family from Wahiawa. Okay? Yeah, he had family here. We've talked to A&B to put up a marker there, a historical plaque acknowledging the fact that his family was from Kauai. So those leis, oh my gosh, how beautiful. You know how special it is to receive a lei. And so today I wear leis that were given to me as gifts. The first two are from my aunt, Eleanor Williamson, who worked at Bishop Museum for many years. And she worked with Tutu Kavenapukui, whom I spoke about on Saturday at the Kauai Historical Society annual meeting. And when they came to Kauai, they did oral history, and they recorded oral history on those round metal cylinders, which are still stored at Bishop Museum, but I sure hope they've transferred them to digital. And this second lei is from Lu Niheo Kurdi, Pupu Ni'ihau, which was a gift of mahalo from her. And I thank her so very much because they're precious to me and I love them. And also because I tried to make Ni'ihau shell earrings once. 12 shells on each earring. Oh, my hands cramped. My eyes were squinting. Oh, I was afraid of crushing them. It takes a great deal of skill to make these leis. So with aloha, with the leis, with the symbol of leis, I welcome you today. I greet you. And I know that you would not be here if you did not already share aloha kekahi kekai, love for one another. And I look forward to hearing the singing later. Mahalo ke akua, e ho'opomai ka ia o kou. I ask God's blessing on each and every one of you. May you continue in your lives on a path of service to the community. Mahalo ke akua no na mea a pau. Ameni.
I am going to interrupt Annalia's well-planned event by taking just a moment to thank her for all that she does for the Interfaith Roundtable of Kauai and our community. Blue Orchid donated the lei to us for Annalia because she's everywhere all at once. The majority of you have seen her in this group and that group and this group and that group, and I know that she has been an integral part of creating the Martin Luther King Day Jr. Junior Day event for 7 years. And I thank you for that. She's also in every other group that you all belong to. And so I bless you and thank you for all that you do for this community and welcome you to the stage.
Well, okay, so what I would like to do is to welcome, hi, Kauai, hi, my newest friends in the back there. I'm so proud that they are going to be sharing with you about peer mediation. Do you realize that every high school now this year has been exposed to peer mediation? So these kids are going to be like our leaders. But speaking of leaders, I would like to introduce and give mahalos. They didn't want to sit in the front, but we have our wonderful leadership here. This whole event, I think it's kind of cool because it's really one big educational opportunity. You're going to look and you're going to hear, oh, cooperate. The signs, the poster contest is there. And we have these different aspects and what we're representing, these organizations. And it's about inspiring the new leaders coming up. We get people here from 1920s. You know, we got to get people here born in the 2000s and above. Coming, and we do have some. So that's exciting. So Mayor Carvalho right away, said he was going to come. However, sadly, his father went into the hospital today, and so he's not going to be here. But we do have Wally Resentes, who is the managing director of Kauai, who will be speaking for him. Go ahead. Did you want to come up and say something? And while he is on his way here, I'd like to point out Derek Kawakami in the back. Joanne Yukamura. Joanne, who also right away, where are you? Stand up. There you are. I see you. You're so short. He's so cute. And we also have Mel Raposo, the chair, council chair. There you are. And I had to get Mason because he runs Leadership Kauai, which is all about the mentoring, which is all about the sharing. So let's hear it from Mason, who brought his son. Okay. So, and here, Wally Resentes.
Aloha and good morning. Yes, I know the mayor wishes he could have been here. We're praying for his dad, and hopefully he will have speedy recovery. But I know the mayor was at about 5:45. He called me on his way to the hospital to see his dad. But let's just hope for the best and pray for the best for his father. I have some of his notes that I'm going to read for today. Again, thank you to the Interfaith Roundtable for bringing our community together to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King, a man who led by example of peace, acceptance, respect, and service and love. He showed us that we could look different, come from different faiths and backgrounds, yet live together in peace and unity. Now more than ever, we need to live and perpetuate these messages. The challenges of the world can feel complicated and overwhelming, leaving many of us to feel like we are helpless. How can one person make a difference? The answer is simple, by living aloha. We were outside earlier today and we heard that song, A-L-O-H-A. Just so happened it was part of the mayor's speech. Aloha, A-L-O-H-A, 5 letters. A, akahai, which means kindness. Treating each other with kindness, even when we disagree. L for lokahi, unity. Many hands make light work. We must all work together. O for olu olu, which it means to be pleasant and agreeable. And you will find that people will reciprocate that attitude. H for ha'a, which means humility, to be humble. And A for ahonui, patience. When life seems hurried, be patient and still. Sometimes all it takes is a nice, deep breath. When you break it down, the meaning of aloha is pretty much the same message that Dr. King left behind. Live with kindness, live with unity, humility, and patience. This will lead us to love. In a world filled with conflict, we need only do one thing to make a positive difference, and that is live aloha. Thank you.
Isn't this man wonderful to come like at 5:30 in the morning, he gets a call and he shows up? Let's give an extra round of that speaks a lot in my book. I really appreciate that. Our next group of folks are led by Mary Lardizabal from Kauai Middle School. We wanted something from every age level, and I know Mary. Mary has worked with the Kauai mediation team earlier until by some administrative stroke of evilness. No, I don't know. But anyway, it is no longer happening there. So we're going to try and get that to happen again. So please welcome these kids, and also they contributed a lot to the poster contest. So as you're waiting in line for your meals, just read some of these absolutely wonderful posters that they made. I love you guys. Okay, bye.
Aloha, everyone. Join us in our Kauai medley, very appropriate to go from all the way from Wailua to Hyannis to Kauai, featuring our beautiful, thank you, our beautiful Kulia Kaya Kua. Raindrops of roses and whiskers of kittens. Bright colored candles and miracles and vixens. Brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Three-colored ponies and Christmas strudels. Doorbells and sleigh bells and spoons and noodles.
I would like to introduce Cynthia Moore, who has worked very hard on her project with her assistant, her husband, John Moore, who will introduce Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Cynthia is a member of the Roundtable and now is working at the YWCA in the Domestic Violence Program. So, still taking care of those folks. Cynthia Moore.
Good morning. It is still morning, right? Before I get into the video, I want to say this. If you have not seen the movie Hidden Figures at Kukui Grove Theater, please go and see it. It is worth it. Thank you.
Mom, can I have it?
The video you're about to see, the video itself is not a great video. It's not quality, but the sound is pretty good. You'll be able to understand him. But 6 months before King died, he delivered a short but exceptionally insightful address on this question: what is your life's blueprint? It was delivered at Barrett Junior High School in Philadelphia in 1967. The students at Barrett Junior High School were growing up in a world that told a lot of its people that they were nobody. King told those children to cultivate a determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. He did not sugarcoat the fact that it would be hard work. To help people find the true meaning of life, he speaks of 3 eternal principles. First, understand your dignity. Second, work hard to achieve excellence. And third, serve others like you're on a mission for God, because you are. He points out that the blueprint exists before the building, and it is the pattern and the guide for constructing it. King also mentioned that if there is a blueprint for our lives, there must also be an architect. So no matter what your area of services may be, in every activity of your life, you're on a mission from God. What matters is not how much wealth or success you accumulate, whether you are, as he puts it, the tree on top of the hill or the shrub in the valley, but how faithful you are to your mission. But if you are speaking to people who have been told that they are nobody, the first step is to help them recover their sense of somebodyness and their agency. It is a both timeless word, and it's also a word that is still true for this season. Please enjoy What is Your Life's Blueprint?
I'll move on and say some things that I want to say very briefly. And I'm being very honest. I'm going to be brief because I have other engagements. I don't have a tradition of being brief all the time. You know, I'm a Baptist preacher, and we can talk a long time. But I'm going to really be brief today. I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now, each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Now that means that you should not be ashamed of your color. You know, it's very unfortunate that in so many instances our society has placed a stigma on the Negro's color. And you know, there are some Negroes who are ashamed of themselves. But don't be ashamed of your color. Don't be ashamed of your biological features. Somehow you must be able to say in your own lives and really believe it, I am black but beautiful. And believe it in your heart. And therefore you need not be lured into purchasing cosmetics advertised to make you lighter. Neither do you need to process your hair to make it appear straight. I have good hair, and it is as good as anybody else's hair in the world. And we've got to believe that. Now, in your life's blueprint, be sure that you have that a principle of somebodyness. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have, as a basic principle, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out to do it and to do it well. And I say to you, my young friends, that doors are opening to each of you. Doors of opportunity are opening to each of you that were not open to your mothers and to your fathers. And the great challenge facing you is to be ready to enter these doors as they open. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great essayist, said in a lecture back in 1871 that if a man can write a better book or preach a better sermon or make a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even if he builds his house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to his door. That hadn't always been true, but it will become increasingly true. And so I would urge you to study hard, to burn the midnight oil. I would say to you, don't drop out of school, and I understand all of the sociological reasons why we often drop out of school. But I urge you, in spite of your economic plight, in spite of the situation that you are forced to live so often with intolerable conditions, stay in school. And when you discover what you're going to be in life, set out to do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do it. And just don't set out to do a good Negro job, but do a good job that anybody could do. Don't set out to be just a good Negro doctor, a good Negro lawyer, a good Negro school teacher, a good Negro preacher, a good Negro barber, a beautician, a good Negro skilled laborer. For if you set out to do that, you have already flunked your matriculation exam for entrance into the University of Integration. Set out to do a good job and do that job so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better. Falls your lot to be a street sweeper. Sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Leontine Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera. And sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the host of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley. But be the best little scrub on the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. We already have some noble examples of black men and black women who demonstrated to us that human nature cannot be cataloged. They in their own lives have walked through long and desolate nights of oppression, and yet they've risen up and plunged against cloud-filled nights of affliction, new and blazing stars of inspiration. And so from an old slave cabin of Virginia's hills, Booker T. Washington rose up to be one of America's great leaders. He lit a torch in Alabama, and darkness fled in that setting. Yes, you should know this because it's in your own city. from a poverty-stricken area of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Marian Anderson rose up to be the world's greatest contralto, so that a Toscanini could say that a voice like this comes only once in a century. And Sibelius of Finland could say, my roof is too low for such a voice, from the red hills of Gordon County, Georgia. And the arms of a mother who could neither read nor write, Roland Hayes rose up to be one of the world's great singers and carried his melodious voice into the palaces and mansions of kings and queens. From crippling circumstances, there came a George Washington Carver to carve for himself an imperishable niche in the annals of science. There was a star in the diplomatic sky, and then came Ralph Bunce, the grandson of a slave preacher, and he reached up and grabbed it and allowed it to shine in his life with all of its scintillating beauty. There was a star in the athletic sky. And then came Jackie Robinson in his day and Willie Mays in his day with their powerful bats and their calm spirits. Then came Jesse Owens with his fleet and dashing feet. Then came Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali with their educated fists. All of them came to tell us that we can be somebody, and to justify the conviction of the poet, fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. If I were so tall as to reach the pole, or to grasp the ocean at a span, I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of the man. Finally, in your life's blueprint must be a commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Don't allow anybody to pull you so low as to make you hate them. Don't allow anybody to cause you to lose your self-respect to the point that you do not struggle for justice. However young you are, you have a responsibility to seek to make your nation a better nation in which to live. You have a responsibility to seek to make life better for everybody. And so you must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice. Now, in this struggle for freedom and justice, there are many constructive things that we all can do and that we all must do. And we must not give ourselves to those things which will not solve our problems. You've heard the word nonviolent and you've heard the word violent. I happen to believe in nonviolence. We struggle with this method with young people and adults alike all over the South, and we have won some significant victories, and we've got to struggle with it all over the North because the problems are as serious in the North as they are in the South. But I believe as we struggle with these problems, we've got to struggle with them with a method that can be militant, but at the same time does not destroy life or property. And so our slogan must not be burn, baby, burn. It must be build, baby, build. Organize, organize. Yes, our slogan must be learn, baby, learn, so that we can earn, baby, earn. And with a powerful commitment, I believe that we can transform dark yesterdays of injustice into bright tomorrows of justice and humanity. Let us keep going toward the goal of selfhood, toward the realization of the dream of brotherhood, and toward the realization of the dream of understanding goodwill. Let nobody stop us. I close by quoting once more the man that the young lady quoted, that magnificent black bard who is now passed on, Langston Hughes. One day he wrote a poem entitled Mother to Son. The mother didn't always have her grammar right, but she uttered words of great symbolic profundity. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stad. It's had tacks in it, boards torn up, places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I's been a-climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you stop now. Don't you sit down on the steps because you find this kind of hard. But I's still going, boy. I's still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Well, life for none of us has been a crystal stair, but we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
Interfaith Roundtable really honors you. I bought her a Starbucks coffee card. Because I know, come Jessie, come on. Hey, wait a minute. Do you know the mediators mediate every every case that goes to small claims court? Did you know that? If you have a case that goes to small claims court, it's going to go to a mediator first. This is what we're doing. We're transforming, and Jesse has had so much to do with that. Does divorce mediations. All divorcing families have to go through a program called Kids First, where they're introduced to the concept of mediation to resolve custody issues. So it's a great thing. Yes. Oh, yes. Now we also have Suzanne Stover is one of our members. She was responsible for getting everybody together to make all these sandwiches, and she made a lot of these beautiful posters. Suzanne, stand up, and she has somebody to acknowledge. You want to come up on the stage? Why don't you come up so everyone can hear you?
Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. I just love to acknowledge we have someone who's going to carry aloha all over the world. His name is Yannick Keoki Avanaugh. And if you haven't seen his picture yet in all the magazines, that truly is his mission. Let me read quickly. Kauai's Yannick Avanaugh and is a piano prodigy headed to Festival for Young Musicians in Germany. This is lovely Alina. This is Annika. Yeah, he has two sisters with names very alike. Thank you. Okay. And he has a GoFundMe thing up. So if you want to send Yannick all over the world with aloha, you know where to read about him more. Okay, thank you. And that is Pat Norman. She is a friend of mine from Sun Village, and I just found out about Pat that she is going to be, her life story is going to be represented by Whoopi Goldberg in a major documentary which will show right after the Academy Award show. And it is a documentary of those lives of people who made a difference in the world. And she certainly will be bringing aloha all over. And so,
Okay, and now it is my extreme great pleasure, and I'm sure it will be a great pleasure for you, to listen to the newest peer mediation team on the island, Kauai High, come up and share some things, 6 quick fixes to resolve conflicts and more. Give them a warm hand. I love this guy.
by the way, Pat has marched in over 20 Martin Luther King parades and also is a civil rights activist from San Francisco extraordinaire.
Good morning, aloha, everybody. Thank you so much, Analia, for having us here. I'm Erin Medeiros. I'm a teacher at Kauai High School and the advisor of our peer mediation team. We have today 8 of our students. There are 14 others that have been trained. And for that, I have to give just such a huge thank you to Analia and to Jesse, who was just introduced. There you are. And to Keith Kitamura, who's in the back. And he is the advisor and teacher at Kapa'a High School, who runs a hugely successful program there. And those students came on the same day that Analia and Jesse did, and just led our students through the most phenomenal training for peer mediation. And it's because of that that we have a program at our school. So we're very, very thankful for that. And I wanted to just kind of link a little bit Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and some of his words with what we do. The words from him that really resonated with me as I was thinking about today were everybody can be great because anybody can serve, and you only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. And I also thought about Kumu Sabra and her mention that, you know, some people just have an urge to serve humanity. And so these 8 students that are here really embody that. When I decided to do this program at Kauai High School with, of course, all these people's help, I put it out there to my students and right away had just a bunch of them that were enthusiastic about being trained and wanted to help their school community. And so there's a lot to be excited about and hopeful about in our youth. And so I want to introduce Trevor, Helena, Haven, Kaylin, Geneva, Makani, Rachel, and Charlene. They're going to share 6 quick tips for conflict resolution. And just before that, I wanted to go over what we do in peer mediation, because I think it really is the kind of thing we can do every day in all of our conversations and have so much more peace come from those. Really, our goal when we work with students is to help students communicate what's going on with them effectively, to be listened to, and to find common ground, and then actually have the students who have a conflict discover what their agreement is going to be and have them develop and honor that. And that's an incredible skill to learn. And so students do this by coming together, any students that are in conflict and want peer mediation, with a neutral third party, who is, in our case, 2 or 3 of our peer mediation students. They present each of their sides, what's going on, and really more than anything, they get listened to. And to me, that is the first step in what we just heard from Dr. Martin Luther King, them having somebodyness, a feeling that they matter. So that's what we do in peer mediation, and I'm going to turn it over to these students to share with you some of the 6 quick fixes for conflict, which is kind of a side project of theirs besides actual mediation. So, my student.
All right, so my name is Trevor Passmore. I'm the president of the Kauai High Peer Mediation Team. And I'd like to start by thanking Mrs. Medeiros for being our advisor and helping get this started in our school. And then also Analia and Jesse and all of the Kauai High, the Kapa'a High students that helped train us about conflict resolution and just sharing with you some of what we learned in that. Our goal as mediators is not to develop solutions or to end conflict on our own, but to help pass on the skills of conflict resolution to other students in our schools so that they can solve their own conflicts. And we learned during our training that a lot of that has from people feeling that their own needs are not met, and that by sharing that with them and having them actively communicate what they need to resolve the conflict, that almost in all cases, students are fully capable of resolving them themselves and talking to each other. Our first mediation this year was quite successful, I've heard. Makani actually was the one to do that. If you'd like to come share the success of our first mediation.
Well, is this working? I don't really use mics that often, so I'm quite new at this. But the first mediation for Kauai High School was quite the experience, as well for the people involved. I don't know, like, what are they called? Oh yeah, the disputants, sorry. The disputants, as well as them, it was a real learning experience for both parties, the mediators and the disputants themselves. And to be able to help guide the disputants in our mediation was, I felt life-changing. Like, I've learned that I had the ability to perpetuate the ability to be able to solve issues and really just help people make their lives better, basically, to have like a more harmonious community in our school, and that's what I absolutely love to do now. So, yeah. Thank you.
And short of actually doing a mediation, we also learned 6 simple methods of resolving conflict that you can implement in your own lives to resolve simple conflicts on an everyday basis. And we'd just like to share with you those methods. The first of which is to simply laugh it off when you're insulted. You don't have to create an issue out of it. And we have some skits that we've prepared to help demonstrate these to you. So first, laugh it off. A second method of conflict resolution is to simply play a game of rock, paper, scissors or flip a coin, just to end the dispute and have one person get what they desire. Flip a coin. third method of conflict resolution is to simply agree to split the difference and find a middle ground that you can both quickly agree on. Another method of conflict resolution that is often best if you're physically intimidated or at risk is to simply walk away and avoid the conflict.
Could you use the microphone because we cannot hear you?
Yes, please. Use the mic here.
Yeah, time to go.
All right. Oh my God. Oh. All right.
Okay.
Fifth method of conflict resolution is to simply decide that the conflict is not worth your time and skip it, to just allow the other person to have their way and benefit them in that way of just allowing them to have what they desire.
I think we should get cheese pizza.
We should get pineapple ham pizza.
Okay.
And a final important method of conflict resolution is to notice when you've been wrong, admit it, and say that you're sorry.
I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Okay. Have a nice day.
All right, so hopefully you learned something from that that you can then implement in your own lives and reduce conflict and bring peace to our community here on the island.
About that is when you teach someone how to resolve something peacefully, you never know how far that will go in the world, how they will keep doing that, and they will touch a life, and they will touch another life, and another life, and it just goes on in a great big circle of goodness. Okay, now for the moment that I know some of you have been waiting for, Sally Wilson we wanted to figure out a way to get our youngest children involved. And we thought we would have a poster contest that was available for all kids. We put it in the paper, and we tried calling people that we knew, and even went to places and gave it to them. So we have we have 3 winners. And Sally Wilson was the one who organized this. She's from the Jewish community, and we thank her so much. Yay.
Hi. So about these conflict resolution kits, you know, it's the answer to let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me, you know, in small ways. It's just fabulous. Okay. Is that better? So the posters are up there for you to see. The parameters were that a poster, and they had to incorporate some saying or words of Dr. King that they thought were meaningful. So we were hoping to get them to think, to produce something, and you can see the results are great. They're so great that we have a first prize, a second prize, I think 4 third prizes. It was impossible. They're so good. And then everybody who participated got, if nothing else, an honorable mention, and I have a small gift for them. So they can come see me later. How many of you are here, kids who did your posters? Oh, good. So the names, I might have gotten them wrong because I just got them from the back of, from the poster, so it's as good as the printing was. And we have cash prizes for first, second, and the third place winners, which she's got the cash. Okay, so the first third place award was to Isaac Visitation. Is that person here? Yeah. I'll get in touch with their teachers and schools to give them their cash. Randy Bailey. Okay. Renan Lee. Not here. I don't know. Okay. Cambria Brassington. Yeah. Jaslyn Bunau. Not here. These might have been some of Mary Isabel's. They are? Oh, there you are, yeah. And I have to acknowledge Mary for this. We faxed the announcement to all the schools, passed them out all over the place, and this great teacher actually seems to have spoken to the kids, taught them about Dr. King, and a lot of those are from her class. Pia? Is there a Pia here? No. Rylin? Oh, good. Rylin's here. So Rylin's in the big money. Rylin was second place. So Rylin, if you would get somebody to take down your poster from up there right now, and we're going to have a photo taken of you. And first place award was Jody Woodward. So we're happy to say that Jody won $50 cash. You could go get your poster. And Rylin won $25 cash. Yeah. Come. The third place winners all got $5, and we'll have a prize for everybody who entered. Thanks. Yeah, go ahead. College money. Oh, sure. Girls come back. So somebody's asking that you maybe tell them what you wrote on it. Okay?
I wrote, faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the whole staircase.
in Reverend King's Road we can all get along.
We're just about done with our program, but what I want to do is before I invite our wonderful Sharon West to sing Martin Luther King's favorite song, some of that, and then she's also we'll all sing together the Let There Be Peace on Earth, and she'll do the blessing for our meal. But I want to share what we're hoping. The whole idea of this event is that people get together and talk to other people, that they have a chance to mingle. We had some leaders on this island. We had council members here. They came. I don't know if any are still here. I think they had to go probably. But they're open for you to talk to them and other people. We're going to have the opportunity to divide us into 4 different areas. You can sit with people in an area of topic that you're interested in. And they are conflict resolution and mediation. If you'd like to learn more about that, Jesse Vasquez is going to be the facilitator of that. And we're hoping that we can, get some else of you in there. We have Respect and Love is another group, and Sharon West is going to be working with that, perhaps with Cynthia Moore, who brought you the Martin Luther King Jr. event, and Dr. Hari. Then the other one is right there. We have mentoring. Mentoring is natural. Bigger kids mentor little kids, and there's such a call for it. That's how these kids learn. Jesse and I went over to Kauai High. It was mentoring. I didn't get paid. I just wanted to share this with them. And then the other one is, what have I left out? Isms. Beyond isms. And, it's so interesting to me that the last movie that was a big, big hit was Moana. And in Moana, that very closing scene where she recognizes this big, gnarly, scary volcano goddess. She's walking to her, and it says, be able to see the loving beauty of that person that's hidden behind the exterior. And it turns out that volcano goddess, that volcano creature, was the goddess that had created all the islands. But it took someone to see that beauty again. And she returned her heart to her, symbolic of that. It's also in Elsa, the Frozen movie, where it's only love can thaw a freezing heart. A lot of good stuff's coming out there. So with no more ado, we will put these easels around, and probably here, and in the back, like 4 different areas. If you don't want to be part of a discussion group, there are the people around the perimeter, or you can just sit together with your friends, or whatever you want to do. You can read the posters. So I would like to introduce our lovely Sharon West, who is going to sing a wonderful Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite.
I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad I'm here and to be a part of this. I want to thank all the people that came together. It does take a village to put something like this together, believe me. I know you've met the IROC people, the Interfaith Roundtable of Kauai. Would you all raise your hands again? If you have any questions, how about standing? If you have any questions about being a part of this organization, see one of these people and they'll tell you how you can do it. Basically, it's about showing up. Isn't it true in life that that's what matters most? I had the honor to live in Atlanta and to be a part of the community there. I was a reporter. I got a chance to know his daughter, Yolanda. Having interviewed her a few times, it was an honor to be that close to that energy. And just want you to remember that Dr. King was a human being as well as a mighty, mighty leader. And he had his preferences, and one of his songs that he loved the most, probably the most, and the singer that he honored the most was Mahalia Jackson. And she would sing for him and did sing at his funeral this particular song, and I thought I would present that. And then we're going to, right after I sing that, if you would form a circle, because we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth in that spirit of standing around a circle and looking at one another, taking in each presence. You're all beautiful, powerful beings, and you can make a difference because of what you hold in your heart. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired. I am weak. Oh, I am worn through the storm, through the night. Hold my hand, lead me to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord. I know you want to sing it with me. Lead me on. Please stand. Make a circle. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be.
Bamboo Moon Video has been producing quality videos for Kauai and beyond since 1995.
So simply, we are celebrating life in its splendid form of aloha.
Bamboo Moon Video. Call us 808-634-6597.